You know, this might be the first video where I have to put in a second disclaimer. Although I don't have a favorite color, if I did, it would probably be red. It's the one I play the most, to the point that my only mono-colored commander deck is a red one. However, such biases have no place in a critically acclaimed internet series like this one, so I'll try and be impartial. The best color in Magic the Gathering is characterized by impulse and chaos, but also passion. It's the color of acting, sometimes before thinking, but always first. The wall red hits is similar to black though, and that's running out of steam. A lot of red's resources are temporary, making it great at having explosive turns, but terrible at sustainability. It's kind of interesting to see a game like Magic, which is more about slow-paced resource building for its first half, get turned into an action-packed speedrun. But let's look into it a little deeper. Red's playstyle is aggressive, and I mean really aggressive. Like a nice guy in your DMs aggressive. It likes playing cheap creatures, attacking often, and dealing non-combat damage with abilities, instants, and sorceries. Red is also the fastest color, but speed is kind of a weird concept in this game, so let me elaborate. A fast card tends to fall into three different categories. First is haste, which is when a creature can attack and activate abilities on the turn it's played. Next is having a cheap mana cost, so you can play it earlier in the game or multiple spells in one turn. Finally, a card is fast if it does something the moment you play it. For instance, Expedite costs 1 mana, has an immediate effect, and draws you a card, replacing itself in your hand so you maintain card advantage. Whereas Sunbird's Invocation is quite slow since it costs 6 mana and needs another card to activate its effect. And if you don't have that other card, then on your opponent's turn, it becomes a ripe, juicy apple in the hands of an angry chimpanzee. Playing red is kind of like playing a glass cannon in any role-playing game. You try and deal as much damage as you can while risking your own safety and resources. Red doesn't have a lot of ways to deal with anything that can't be damaged or isn't an artifact, so it's a little predictably direct. Instants and sorceries, goblins, creature abilities, goblins again, but sort of not really. Enchantments, red is by far the best color at dealing damage. Which leads us to our first problem, in that you are now the target. Congratulations! Red is so good at dealing damage that you will immediately be targeted by every other player after you so much as cough in their direction, because they know that in 3 turns you'll be triggering the apocalypse. The second problem is that, even though red is good at dishing out the hurt, plenty of the other colors are good at taking it. Counterspells never feel quite as bad as they do after you sink 8 mana into a sorcery, and if the life gain deck sets up well enough, you will definitely run out of resources before they run out of life. Finally, we run into red's biggest issue, which is that red likes to gamble. And like any gambling addict, it runs into diminishing returns more often than it wants to. I mean, just look at its card draw options. Both rummaging and impulse draw sound good on paper, it's just a shame that paper is so damn flammable. But enough about the temporary, let's talk permanents. What creature types show up in red the most? Goblins, which are small and aggressive, dragons, which are big and aggressive, and dwarves, which are actually pretty I'm just kidding, they're aggressive as shit. Goblins are up first, Magic's most perfect little guys. They hate artifacts, love attacking, and spread like an untreated fever in the medieval era. Most goblin strategies are all about swarming the board, sacrificing your gobos, attacking fast, destroying artifacts, and building the cutest army you've ever seen. Just look at his little face. Dragons are up next, and they tend to be red's big finishers, kind of like angels in white, but a lot more scaly. Dragons love dealing non-combat damage to players and creatures, making treasures, synergizing with artifacts, making more dragons, and flying over any obstacle to attack. You know, unless they have reach. Dwarves are interesting because they actually love artifacts, especially equipment, vehicles, and treasure. Like a lot of red creatures, they enjoy attacking fast, hitting hard, and increasing their own damage through abilities or artifact synergies. Some other creature types include things like giants, ogres, demons, elementals, basically anything that likes to hit stuff with big sticks, set things on fire, or can't read. On the now infamous ranking system of the What Is series, I'd put red directly in the middle. It's pleasantly simple at the start, but takes a bit of work to get the most out of it. There's also a surprising level of versatility in this color with artifact, damage, and aggro beatdown strategies. which is why it's my most played color. Being clever and tricky will always feel better in a direct color like this one than, say, blue. It's fast, devastating, and sometimes takes unnecessary risks, but excels at pulling wins out of nowhere. But is it the strongest color? Well, unfortunately, the best card ever, Armageddon Clock, is colorless and can fit into any deck. Still, if you like the idea of wielding a horde of dragons like your own personal sword of Damocles over everyone's heads, throwing fireballs like they're rice at your best friend's wedding, or feeding your need for speed, then red might be the best color for you. If not, stay tuned. We're doing green next. Well, I think that's everything. Wait, did we remember to lock up the chip? Dr. Bananas, no! I finally managed to get away from him. I distracted Dr. Bananas with some classic literature and a jar of olives, so I should have a few minutes. I'd like to spend that time to say thank you for watching this video. You know, supporting our fine hairy friend is a difficult task, especially since he hasn't had a grant in 3 years. But we wouldn't be able to do it without our amazing $5 a month patrons, like Dorianne and Liam Anderson. If you'd like to be a part of the names that help us support our deeply unemployable monkey friend, then go and join our Patreon, or the membership on our channel. You get access to a bunch of cool emojis that a friend of the channel drew, and we're going to be uploading more soon, and probably some members-only content as well. There are a ton of ways to support the channel if you love it. You can share the videos, comment on them, do a like, do a subscribe. Especially now, it's very important. I'm going to do a Q&A video at the end of this series, and if you want your question to be answered, or at least read out, then please make sure you comment it under the videos. I'm going to be checking all of the videos for comments, but don't worry if you don't want to post there. There will be a community post around about when green comes out, which should be in about 2 weeks. It is deeply ironic that this video took me the longest to make. But that's how it goes sometimes. As we love to say on this channel during the streams, that's life. Speaking of the streams, that happens every Monday night and Thursday night, although it's probably not necessarily at night if you're not in this country. But every Monday and Thursday at 7 PM SAST, which is South African Standard Time, I stream Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, sometimes other games, sometimes art. Emilio's on certain streams, usually the Thursday ones. Our friend Kevin is on the Monday streams. They're both lots of fun and great to hang out with. And speaking of Emilio, there are a ton of videos that he's done on the channel that you should absolutely go and watch. The Ken Theory is a wonderful ball of chaos that I loved watching, and his Warhammer content is just truly exceptional. Go and check them out. If you want to support the videos, like I've already said, like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that goodness. Check out our social links if you want to see more updates about the channel. We mostly post to Discord first, so if you really want the updates as soon as possible, go and check out the Discord. It's also a great community. We have lovely fans. Anyway, that's about it from me. Thank you so much, and remember that doing things fast isn't always the best way to get things done, but damn if it isn't fun. So long.